So guys, I am Zen. Is that what you wanted to hear? Well, I'm sorry, it's not true. I'm not Zen. For the past couple of days, after me posting clips of me back on Rust Console playing on Cloth Madness, which is a PvP server, I've been getting a lot of Zen accusations. Whether they're joking or they're serious, I'm here to deny them and basically make the ultimate settings video for you guys who are legit and want to take note. Settings are the most important thing when it comes to PvP. Whether you're a high sense player, low sense player, it all matters and you all get used to it at some point in the game. It takes time for some, and for others they just set theirs up and they are good to go. Now for this video, I've set up a platform with 3 different ranges: 1 short range, 1 mid range and 1 long range. And after this, I'm going to test my spray on the panels behind it. Bear in mind, these settings might not be for you. You might need completely different settings, so it's not going to work for everyone. And this is the thing with settings videos. I'm just here to make it to see what settings I've got for you to look at and for you to, whether you want to use them or not, tweak them or use them literally. But I do promise you, if you are the same type of player that I am, these settings will benefit you in the long run and you will get better. But it's also something to note that go on test servers like the Target aim training servers as well as Cloth Madness. These are all PvP servers that will get you better at controlling the recoil. What I'm going to be doing today is controlling the AK-47, since that is the main weapon. People say if you control it so well, that means you're Zen or Zim. I'm going to be doing this within the hollow sight 4 times and the iron sight. Without further ado, let's get into the settings. Now on screen you can pause and whatnot, take note of these. Boost multiplier is 150%. Now if you had your X and Y at 100, that's pretty much the equivalent of 150, but with my settings I just like to add on 150 boost multiplier. For anyone that isn't aware of what boost multiplier means, basically adjust how fast the camera moves when you push the right stick from left to right, basically looking around how fast that is. And people kind of misconstrued as me doing this to be mouse and keyboard because my settings are so high. People say to me, your settings are way too high, you shouldn't have it as that. This is just how I play. And complementary to that, my X and Y axis 80% and then Y is 100%. Y axis is me looking up and down, and I have that on 100 because for some reason looking up and down on this game is kind of slow, especially on controller. Onto the ADS and scoped 1 times, these are both at 25%. It just works for me. I don't know how else to explain it. 25% is, you know, my soft spot for aiming in. I've tried 21, I've tried 30, 35, 18. They haven't been good for me, or they've been good for a certain amount of time, then I'm just done with them. 25% on both ADS and scoped 1 times is where it's at for me. Scoped 4 times and bow is both on 40%. I'm not going to really elaborate on that. 4 times I don't really use, and bow I don't really use that often anyway, so I just have them at 40, which is kind of high because that's usually close quarter combat. 4 times with further away range, I just have that at 40% because it just works well. Now the most important bit about these settings in my opinion is the dead zone. So for dead zone left I'm on 2%, dead zone right I'm on 5%. Now the caption we've been given by D11 as to what dead zone really is this: adjust the size of the dead zone at the center of the right stick, which determines how far you must push the stick before input is registered. In short, if you have a higher in terms of number, so let's say it's at 10% for dead zone left and dead zone right, you're going to have to put much more force into your stick going from left to right, your right stick, than you would at a lower percentage, being let's say 2% for dead zone left and dead zone right. So the lower you have it, the faster you'll be looking around and the less amount of force you need to put into your joystick for it to then look around and register. Now the reason being why my dead zone left is 2% and my dead zone right is 5% is this: if we look at the AK Recoil, it is a backwards S, and what I've found through practicing is that I struggle mainly on the start of the spray. Now the start of the spray is the most important, considering, you know, you need those amount of bullets into the player. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're good if you can control 30 bullets. It's how many bullets less you can use. If you're using 10 bullets to kill someone as opposed to someone that's using 20 to 30, you're better than that person. And so I practice the start of my spray using these settings. Now with the backwards S, you're going up right. To counter this, I have my dead zone left on 2%, so I can easily just flick my thumb to the left, and since it's on a lower dead zone, which means it's going to be less force input for my joystick to register, it then basically combats it, and I'm pretty well rounded with the spray from then on. And by the time I'm using dead zone right or turning right on my joystick to counter the recoil, I pretty much have a hold of it anyway, so 5 just fits well. So those are my settings. I'm now going to be going into the short, mid and long range shooting with the iron sight, the holographic and the 4x. Now just to note, I'm not going to be cutting any of this clip. It's going to go from A to B without any cuts, so you can see what my spray is like. I'm not going to try and make it perfect for you. I'm not going to try and play off that I'm an insane player and this is my spray on the day-to-day basis. It changes each day depending on if I feel like I'm going to play this game and try hard or not, or if I'm going to sit back and chill. So what you're going to be seeing is the authentic spray from my point of view. Here I'm just going to do a spray test with the iron sight, hollow and 4x on the panels behind the flame turrets, just to kind of gauge at where my sprays are at with each of the attachments. Here's my hand cam video. There's nothing in the front of the Xbox, no Zim, no Zen. We're on a building server. This is my controller. I know you can Bluetooth Zen, I think, but there's no cable. I play with rechargeable batteries. And I play Claw as well, which I've done on a CNQR channel. I've done a little hand cam. So I play like this, so I press B like that, instead of just playing like this. And we're going to do a couple mag shots so you can see that it's legit, and just watch for this time as well. So whilst it doesn't look like the hollow's moving that much, maybe from your point of view, it very much is. The bullets are just going everywhere. But the thing is that the person's body is going to be nearly as big as that, depending on how far I am. So it actually, that's a good spray for someone that's from afar, or mid-range at least. Don't get it twisted, my spray is probably better in the clips because, one, I mean, I don't play like this with my hands out. I usually have them under the desk. Two, there's a target and there's no pressure. So there's a bit of pressure on me to try and make a good recoil spray so it fits the clips that I've got. However, it's just different when you're in a fighter scenario rather than one that's just you shooting at something. And that is pretty much my settings, how I use the AK, how well rounded my spray is. Again, this changes from day to day. I'm a legit player, my spray is inconsistent, and it's definitely different in terms of being in an official server than it is being in a PvP based server. The PvP based server, you have no stress. You can kill anyone, die, and then just spawn back with a kit. Whereas official, if you die, you've lost that kit unless you track back and get it back from that player. It depends on a multitude of factors, whether your stress levels increase because of the situation you're in, and as well long, short and mid-range shooting is just going to be different as well. You're going to be moving less when you're doing long range, and you're going to be moving more when you're doing short range combat PvP. So it just depends on the circumstances, and sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. That is just life of being a legit player on this game. Hopefully these have helped you. If you do use these settings and then want to tweak them, drop the settings in the comment section that you're going to be using and how you've tweaked them, and I just want some feedback really as to how good these settings are for you. Do they work with you, or are these settings way too high or way too low for you if you're on a legit controller? This is probably going to be the last time unless I have a huge new revamp settings that I need to do a video on, since I've made quite a lot of settings videos over the time I've been on YouTube and TikTok on Rust Console. So do take these as the ones I'm going to be using for the rest of the time I play this game. Any questions, anything you want to ask me, be sure to leave a comment down below, or any feedback on the settings video itself. I'll happily reply to any comments that are given on my videos like I always do. Thank you for your ongoing support. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers. Follow my socials in the description, as well as looking into becoming a member to help out with the development of these videos and me reinvesting that money into better equipment to bring you better and more sufficient content. As always guys, I'll see you in the next one.